Good evening. Welcome, everyone, to First Church of Religious Science. Welcome to our self-healing class here in New York City, broadcasting everywhere. This evening's gathering is entitled Love Yourself Forward. It's a title we chose as we're entering a new year, so Happy New Year. We have a message that's hopefully aligned with the spirit of renewal and fresh beginnings as we step into this new time, new moments, new year. And whether you're joining us here on Zoom, as many of you are, or Facebook, or Spotify, Instagram, or where you're catching the recording later today or tomorrow, you're always hearing these messages at the perfect right time. So before we get into our topic, loving ourselves forward, I'd like to highlight our opportunities for our broadcast opportunities for you this week. Wednesday evening, we have our Creative Living series that Jimmy facilitates, where we explore practical ways to bring spiritual principles into your daily life. On Thursdays, every Thursday like this evening, we focus on self-healing, inspired by Louise Hay. Every Sunday morning at 10:45, we have our meditation, followed by our weekly lesson. So these gatherings are offered freely to you. Everything we do is based upon love offerings. So if you feel called to contribute, there's options in the chat room, or you may, if you like, mail a check to First Church. This ensures that we are able to continue bringing you quality lessons and keeping this teaching alive for everyone who benefits from it. This again is our Louise Hay class, where we explore transformative principles, where we learn to love ourselves more and more deeply and create a life of joy and abundance. Now, I've been doing these classes every Thursday for many, many years. I'm glad if you found us, and I'm grateful for all of those who continue with your healing journey. Louise Hay, as you all know, or most of you know, was a pioneer in self-healing. She also was a member of this church. This is where she took classes similar to what you're taking now, under Raymond Charles Barker. Louise's teaching emphasizes that all healing begins within. You've heard the expression before, all healing is self-healing. So we revisit her wisdom, and tonight's theme is we revisit this wisdom to help us love ourselves forward as we get into a new chapter, into a new year, no less. And it's our opportunity always to focus on what nurtures our growth and what aligns us with our highest good. So let's take a breath together. This will be a little mini meditation. And inhale slowly, deeply. Let's breathe in light and love. And as you exhale, allow your shoulders to relax, your mind to quiet itself down. You could close your eyes if you wanted to for a moment, if it feels comfortable. Just let yourself settle into this moment of stillness. You might picture yourself standing in a peaceful meadow, surrounded by soft, rolling hills. The sun gently warms your skin, and a soft breeze carries the scent of wildflowers around you. This is your sanctuary, a place of beauty, a place of peace, tranquility. In the center of your being, imagine a glowing light, a soft light, golden, a golden light, radiant now, that represents your inner love and your inner worth. Let's take in another breath. And as you do, see that this light grows. It grows a little brighter. It's getting stronger. Notice that it's spreading its warmth and its calm through your entire body. Let yourself be reminded of the deep, unshakable truth that you are loved, you are whole, you're magnificent, you're more than enough. Now, let's consider a couple affirmations that you can repeat. The first is, I love myself just as I am. Yes, I love myself just as I am, followed by I forgive myself. I forgive myself completely. Again, I forgive myself. I forgive myself completely. And one more. I trust in the infinite love of the universe. I trust in the infinite love of the universe. As you continue to breathe, let this come in deeply. Imagine this golden light expanding beyond you now, filling your room. And imagine it connecting with the light of everyone that's in this gathering. Together, one and all, we create a circle of love, a web of compassion, a web of support that flows endlessly between us all. Feel this energy grounding you and uplifting you as we all collectively step into this new time together. When you're ready, in gratitude, let's take another deep breath. Let's come forward. Good to wiggle your fingers or your toes. Gently open your eyes and welcome back. So here we are. Again, the affirmation, I love myself, I forgive myself and others, and the universe is lovingly taking care of me is another one for this lesson. As we do our affirmations, we want to let them flow through us. We want to feel that energy connecting us to all of life. I love, accept, and approve of myself exactly as I am. So let's get into a couple of the discussion points for this evening. The first is self-love is the foundation of all healing. Louise reminded us that all healing begins with loving ourselves more. She said, when we nurture our relationship with ourselves, we open the doors to profound transformation. So as you think about that, to be honest with ourselves, many of us struggle with feelings of inadequacy. Louise would say, of all the people she spoke to in the years of working, it was the bottom line for everyone. And they really didn't feel like that. They didn't feel, really good about themselves in most cases. So she was always working with that theme. And many of us struggle with feelings of not being good enough or inadequate in some way, and we're critical of ourselves. And that's the type of stuff that we really want to, as soon as we spot it or we identify it, we want to find ways to release it. Because underneath the surface, there's many cases a quiet voice that whispers, oh no, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not this, you're not that. Maybe you've heard it within yourself when you notice yourself comparing yourself to someone else in some way, their success or their appearance or whatever it might be. Or maybe it creeps in when you make a mistake. There's an inner critic that says, oh, you're not too smart, or you'll never get this right, or you can't learn, or, those are the types of things you pay attention to. When it happens, let's ask ourselves, where does that come from? And usually it's going to be a pattern from our childhood. Another question, do you find yourself saying, I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I wish I'd done this, or I wish I'd done that? If so, that's information for you. Or do you find yourself at times feeling jealous when someone else gets chosen or gets an opportunity that you don't get? Or how do you feel when other people are celebrated in some way and you feel like you're not being celebrated? So when these things come up, these moments aren't about judgment. They're really opportunities for you to notice how you're responding. They're opportunities for you to grow. The truth is, self-love always begins with awareness. In different lessons, you've heard me talk about Socrates. He was one of my favorites from being in college. The message was, know yourself. To thine own self be true is another. To know yourself, because once you are aware of what you're doing, you can make corrections. So it's about recognizing. These classes are helping us to recognize where we have been unkind to ourselves, where we're being critical, and so we can choose to do it a different way. Awareness, and this is what you're doing, is your consciousness is growing, your awareness is growing. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dim room. As you begin to see clearly what's been previously hidden. See, many of us self-sabotage and we don't even realize it. So we want to get a handle on this inner dialogue that we talk about most weeks, what that inner conversation is like. Then we are able to see what we're doing to ourselves, and we develop clarity. And with this kind of clarity, we can take steps towards kindness, steps towards self-compassion. So with that in mind, let's affirm together, I am enough just the way I am. Again, I am enough. I am enough just the way I am. And another, I give myself permission to grow and to learn without criticizing myself. Again, I give myself permission to grow and to learn without criticizing myself. Another tool we use, the mirror, you'll hear me talk about it. One of Louise's most transformative exercises in her books involves looking into a mirror and affirming self-love. So to be real about it, many of us have looked in the mirror and you'll focus on the flaws. It could be the wrinkles, it could be the blemishes, or it could be anything. So this exercise isn't always easy for people. I've watched people do it for years. I've done it myself, and it's interesting because all kinds of things come up for you in the mirror, in mirror exercises. When you stand in front of a mirror, I'm going to ask you to look into your own eyes calmly and hopefully directing some love towards your own image and connect with yourself and say, I love you. And as you do, it might bring up some type of emotions, could bring up some resistance, doubt, sometimes even tears, and all of it's okay. What comes up for you next, when you do it, take a moment to think about this. What would it feel like if you, to meet yourself, what would it feel like if you could meet yourself the same way you'd meet a friend? What would it be like if you could give yourself, in these mirror exercises, the kind of love and attention you would someone, a family member, someone you love very much? What if instead of criticizing yourself, you said, I see you, I love you, I honor you, I like you. So these are the kind of messages you could give yourself in the mirror. I would look in the mirror different times, different years. I would say, I got you. And, just have a little bit of fun with it. It's powerful. It's a powerful exercise to try it. If you've never tried it, I encourage you to begin this week. Again, stand in front of the mirror, look into your eyes and affirm, I love you, I accept you, and I approve of you exactly as I am. And stay with it, even if it feels uncomfortable. This is how healing begins, with one small, loving step at a time. So moving on from the mirror for today, another cornerstone of Louise's philosophy is forgiveness, both for ourselves and for others. See, many of us really have to do a real number on ourselves. We've just got this strong opinion over the things we've done, and we lament the past, what we've said, and then we'll go towards what other people have done to us. And it's very tough to live in the present moment when we have all this stuff that we're hanging on to. So there's all kinds of lessons we do throughout the year which help let go, right? Louise said, everyone, we're all doing the best that we can with the understanding, the awareness, the knowledge that we have at the time. Now many of you would never do again what you might have done 5 years ago or 10 years ago because you're in a different place. So the thing to remember here is that we're all evolving. All of us are growing. All of us make mistakes. We're all doing the best we can with the understanding, the awareness that we have. So we really want to give ourselves a break, learn how to love ourselves enough to give ourselves a break. And then the other thing, obviously, is since we're all evolving, we're all making mistakes, we're all growing. With that awareness, logically, you want to go towards compassion towards other people. And you might say, oh my God, they did this, they did that. And the thing is, as much as you can, you want to stop that. You want to just release the need for it. So let's think about all that for a moment. How often do we carry the weight around of our past mistakes? Like old tapes, let them replay. They replay and they replay. How often do we hold on to resentments towards others? How often do we hold on to resentments, expecting that they would have been perfect in moments of imperfection? And ourselves. So you made mistakes 6 months, 6 years ago, 16 years ago, and they're still living in your head. We used to say live in our heads rent-free. It's time for us to let it go as much as we can. Here's the thing. No one walks through life without making mistakes, and a lot of them, actually. All of us, again, are evolving, we're learning, and sometimes stumbling along the way. Yet many of us are really hard on ourselves. We're brutally hard on ourselves. We are, at times, unmercifully so. Does any of this sound familiar? Forgiveness, as I've said in other lessons, doesn't mean you're condoning harm. It means you're freeing yourself from heavy chains that you have on yourself right now. When you forgive, you release the grip of the past, the grip that you're putting on yourself or you're allowing other people. When you forgive, you're creating space for peace and growth. So tonight's lesson is, again, loving yourself forward. It means recognizing the mistakes are part of the journey. Again, the mistakes are part of the journey. It means choosing compassion instead of criticism. So let's affirm that we're going to do that. We're going to affirm what? Compassion instead of criticism. Let's affirm together also, I release the past with love and gratitude. I forgive myself and I forgive others for being human. And so that is, right? So I want to talk a little bit about action and activity, because self-love isn't just a concept that we talk about here at the center. It's something that we practice through our actions. It's about setting boundaries. It's about prioritizing rest. And it's about learning to nourish our bodies. And it's about creating a life that feels joyful and more aligned. Again, we have to take certain actions. And maybe sometimes we have to have boundaries. We have to have boundaries for ourselves, because maybe we have a propensity to do something that's self-destructive. We have to create a boundary to stop it. Or maybe it's involving other people. We need to learn how to set boundaries, or prioritize our own rest and our well-being. Nurturing our bodies. Lately, I've been learning a lot about nutrition. So Louise Hay was big on nutrition, feeding yourself, whole foods and better foods, getting more sleep. So these are some of the actions and activities that we can do to create a life that's more aligned. As Louise said, the more love I give, the more I have to receive, right? So that includes taking loving actions towards yourself. I mentioned a few of the things. Consider this. Self-love might look like saying no to something or someone. To say no to something that is going to drain you, right? Or maybe carving out 10 minutes to meditate in the morning. Or self-love might be getting a better sleep schedule, or deciding I'm not going to be on my devices so much, or I'm not going to be on my devices so late at night. Self-love could be as simple as treating yourself to a really nourishing meal, turning off the television so you can mindfully eat that meal, Or it might be as profound as seeking help when you need it. Maybe you've taken on everything you're doing, everything you're by yourself. Possibly it would be good to talk about some of the things you're dealing with, or seeking help of one kind or another when you need it. These actions, no matter how small, will build a foundation of care and respect for yourself. So as we step forward into this year, consider these questions. What one loving thing, what one action can I take for myself today? If there's anything that comes up for you, make a note of it. You might talk about it in the chat or talk about it afterwards. What one thing could you do that will help honor your needs while also showing up for others? So these are good questions, and these are the practices that will allow us to love ourselves forward, not just in thought, but in the way we live. So a couple more steps to practice in loving ourselves forward. You might try the morning ritual with the mirror, looking in your eyes again, saying, I love, accept, and approve of you exactly as you are. Again, knowing that could seem awkward. Another is writing, journaling. Each morning, each day, take out a journal or a piece of paper, write down 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for. Maybe it's something that happened during the day, a kind word you offered, or simply the fact that you made it through the day. Gratitude will focus your mind on what's right and will open the door to even more good. Think of journaling in this way as a way to build a positive dialogue with yourself, one entry at a time. I remember doing journaling for several years daily, and it was the most profound thing that I think I've ever done in my life. It's really worth your time. I did it in the daytime, but doing it in the evening, whenever you just have the energy for it, it will just marshal all your energies and start off with one thought and just start writing about it. And you'll be amazed. Gratitude's always a good place to start, by the way. Okay. The next thing to mention here is practice the boundaries. Loving yourself means knowing when to say yes and when to say no. I'd like you to think about paying attention to moments when you feel overwhelmed or depleted, because this is always a signal that a boundary may need to be instituted and or reinforced. I'd like you to imagine saying no to someone or something with love and grace, not with anger, just doing it because it's the loving thing to do. So imagine yourself saying no with love and grace, not just to protect your time, but to honor your energy. And here's the thing about boundaries I learned as a therapist. They're not walls and they're not in concrete. You can change them. They're bridges to self-love and self-respect. Next little note, along the way, we want to celebrate our progress. Every small step that you take is worth celebrating. This is one of the things when they taught me about affirmative prayer. We used to do affirmative prayers for what I used to call silly things. We would do what we call affirmative prayer treatment for parking spaces. And I would think, oh, that's so inconsequential. I would be doing it for healing illnesses and various things. But doing affirmative prayers for small things is important also, because what you'll start to see that you can actually have demonstrations in your life. So I encourage you, take small steps forward, affirm and know and recognize that you are one with this power, and affirm the things that you would desire, and then you'll start to see how life is responding to you. Every small step, every demonstration is important. Acknowledge the things that you demonstrate, what we'll call the wins, no matter if they seem small or great, because each of these are building blocks towards transformation. And celebrate yourself as you would a dear friend every time you have a positive demonstration, every time you bring forth something that's good. In the new year, consider creating a joyful ritual. What makes you feel alive? Maybe it's a walk in nature. Maybe it's playing with your grandchildren, or could be dancing to your favorite song. Or maybe it's just spending a quiet moment, having a cup of tea or coffee. But whatever you do, create a ritual. Build small moments of joy into your daily life, knowing that each time you carve out a little bit of time for self-care and self-love, it's not an indulgence, it's nourishment for your soul. As we step into the new year, let's remember, learning to love ourselves isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice. And I know everybody is so busy. I hear it. I know people are living 7 hours a day on their devices, and they try to sleep for 7 or 8. And it doesn't leave a lot of time out or left. But what I'm asking you to consider for yourself, loving yourself, is to realize taking these pauses that we talk about weekly for a little more self-love isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice. So do what you can to build some of this into your day. This is about showing up for yourself again and again, even on days when it feels hard. It's about being willing to look at your own reflection in the mirror again and saying, I am enough. So as we step into 2024, ask ourselves, those are some suggestions. You might consider a couple questions. Again, what is the one thing that I can take today from this talk, this lesson? What one or two things can I just jot down, and so I can have a healthy intention from today? How can I honor my own needs while also showing up for others? For me, that would be boundaries. Taking care of myself, and as you're able to take care of yourself, you're going to be more equipped to handle other people better, to help other people. Because if you're depleted, you're not going to be terribly good for anyone anyway. So what couple things, what practices can you walk away from today, or what came to mind that will allow yourself to love yourself going forward? So these things that I mentioned, any of them will allow you to go forward in a better way. When we begin to love ourselves, Louise would say, there's a ripple effect that goes outward in all ways, in ways that you can't calculate or anticipate. Think about it. There must have been times in your life where someone's kindness kind of like blew you away and changed your day. I know there's been many moments like that in my life. So imagine, knowing that that's happened to you, imagine you're offering that same kind of kindness to yourself. So we want to put the shift towards loving ourselves in this Louise Hay class. What if you could really focus a little bit more on self-care, better foods, more sleep, more time outs for yourself, more pauses? Imagine offering that same kind of kindness to yourself, putting yourself first. How would that shift your interactions then with others? See, self-love transforms not only how we see ourselves, but it also transforms how we move in the world at large. It opens the door to healthier relationships, more meaningful connections, and you'll have a deeper connection with yourself, more peace. The more we practice self-love, the more natural it becomes. So let's affirm this all together. As I learn to love and honor myself, I bring love and honor to the world around me. Again, as I learn to love and honor myself, I bring love and honor to the world around me. Next, I'm a reflection of the infinite love that flows through all of life. That's very beautiful, if you can say that to yourself and believe it. I'm a reflection of the infinite love that flows through all of life. I'm here to say for everyone, you're all part of something greater, and your journey to self-love is a gift, not just to you, but to all of us and to everyone you touch. Again, you are part of something greater. You are one with the one, and your journey to self-love is a gift, not just to you, but to everyone, to all of us, to everyone you touch. So this lesson is about moving forward with love. As we bring our time together to close, we'll open up to you shortly. Let's reflect on some of the things we've discussed. We've explored the power of affirmations to reshape our inner dialogue. We do that every single week. Always changing that conversation around. We're trading in the lesser ideas for the greater. We've explored also practical steps, a few practical steps to embody self-love in our daily lives, and the incredible ripple effect that loving ourselves can have on the world around us. Self-love, once again, isn't just a gift to ourselves. It's a way of transforming how we show up in life. It's a foundation of healing. Having the self-love is a spark of creativity, and it gives us the courage to grow into the fullness of who we are. Before we close, I'd like to invite you to take a moment to reflect. What stood out most for you in tonight's lesson, because you'll be able to share about that? What's the one thing that you might think of doing today or this week to love yourself so you can move yourself forward? If you feel comfortable, I encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the group after we finish. Your voice to us is a gift. What you share tonight might be the very thing that helps someone else, or it could be the thing that someone else needs to hear. It often is. So I want to close with an affirmative prayer before I open up to your sharing. You can say these after me as I lead into it. I am worthy of my own love and care. It's one affirmation. Every step I take is towards greater peace and joy. I'm enough, and I'm growing more each day. So let these words guide us as we move through the week. So let's close with this idea. There is one life, one love, one infinite presence of good that flows through me, through you, and all that is. I know that this presence is alive in every step we take, guiding us towards greater joy, peace, and self-love. As we affirm our worth and our wholeness, we open ourselves up to infinite possibilities and new beginnings. I declare that each week we each move forward with clarity, confidence, and a heart full of love for ourselves and the world. And so it is. And now I'd like to hear from each and every one of you, if you're able to. Tell us what's come up for you this week or in the lesson, what it's been like you, what it's been being like you. So let's turn the cameras over to you and feel free to share whatever is on your mind, in your heart. Remember always that this is a space of love and support, and your voice truly matters. So it is. I look forward to hearing from you.